Welcome, YouTube! We're in Fishkill, New York, in boutiques, wines, spirits, and ciders. I love what they are doing because, you know, so many places, so many liquor stores you go to, people forget about the cider. I know I talked to Gennaro a while back and he said when they first opened up, they had 35 ciders, you know, to sell. So
it's
like,
very unique. You don't see that very often, so it's great to have that.
Let's check it out.
Let's go.
Welcome to Boutique Wine, Spirits, and Ciders. I'm glad you guys can make it all the way up to the Hudson Valley.
So excited.
So excited.
You're excited?
We're excited.
I'm Gennaro. This is Paige.
I'm Paige.
We own Boutique Wine, Spirits, and Ciders together.
Alright guys, so here's our cider garden. If you step on over, you can kind of see the whole picture. This is all cider here. We have it actually set up by region right now. So you're looking at this big table here. The length of this table, all the way from the beginning end cap to the other end cap, is all New York State ciders. So some really awesome selections from places like New England, all the way up the New England corridor, Pennsylvania. We got some great Virginia ciders, down the East Coast, then out to the West Coast, and some from Central United States right there. So some really, really cool ciders here, and not to be outdone, but we do have European ciders. So Europe is over here. Everything from what most people think of as classic, like English ciders and French ciders and Spanish cidras, to some really cool German options, Lithuanian. We've got some Italian options over there, classic French, classic Spanish, stuff from Denmark, so lots of stuff from all over Europe right here. Oh wait, there's more. We also have 13 on tap, so you can do growler fills right there. So 12 on those taps. Then we have our tap in the tree, so we've got Orchard Hill on tree tap.
That is so cool.
So right built into our tree, right there. So some of the freshest cider, some of the coolest cider that we really are passionate about ends up in our tree tap at some point.
That's
So, and lastly, guys, but certainly not leastly, we do have a really cool section of other cider and apple products. Things like ice ciders, pomos, apple moonshine, apple jack, apple brandies, calvados. So that whole selection of apple products that are just a little bit harder or more desserty than your typical ciders. So,
How many ciders do you guys have in general? Like,
We have at least 200, but probably pushing more like
That's crazy.
230 in bottle
gosh.
and then we have 13 tap lines.
little birdie told me that you guys won an award or two from the American Cider Association. Is this true?
yes, rumors are true. Yeah, actually, we were pretty humbled and pretty shocked because we didn't even know we were in the running, but the U.S. Cider Association, or the American Cider Association, actually gave us an award for the best cider retailer on the East Coast earlier this year, about like 3 or 4 days before COVID hit.
Oh my God.
So yeah, and then actually we were awarded just recently, last month we were awarded locally best cider store in the Hudson Valley. We were editor's pick from Hudson Valley Magazine, gave us that award. So we got a cool local award too, and a very cool national award in the same year, which is, you know, as 2020
Pretty
goes,
cool.
those are pretty cool things, especially this year.
Okay, you guys want to try some stuff?
Let's do this. I'm excited.
It's kind of a mid-palate cider from Orchard Hill. You're seeing anywhere between 6.9 and 7.25% depending on the batch. This is a field blend of cider from Soon's Farms out in Orange County. And they just make really nice cider. This is kind of their intro to cider. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for having us, guys. Let's do this.
It is kind of a good intro to cider.
It really is.
That's why it's on tree tap.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What got you guys into like cider in general?
You want the story.
Yeah.
There's always a story. When I was a kid, there wasn't a lot of like wine and other options. So you either had what they called wine coolers, like the old school Bartles and James stuff, or beer. And I drank neither one of those because wine coolers did not taste like wine, which I liked, like wine, but not the wine coolers. So I started searching around for something that was a little bit like different. And I came across a couple of ciders. I actually was a rep, like a wine rep, and I was going into all these different wine stores in the Hudson Valley. And I kept looking for cider because I liked it when I was in college, you know? So I'm looking for ciders around here. It's in the middle of apple country, and I can't find a lot of places that have a ton of selection. And when I do find a selection and I start asking questions about the ciders, I couldn't get any square answers. The answer I usually got was, well, it's good. And I'm like, okay, that one's good, that one's good, that one's good. I'm like, do you have any bad ciders? Can you tell me anything else about this cider? Is it sweet? Is it dry? Does it have bubble? Where does it, like, any information? And it just seemed that a lot of people just didn't. They had a little dusty section, like the naughty room at Blockbuster in the corner. And if you were in that section, you were a weirdo. And I was like, you know, this sort of stinks. I was like, so I just kind of, I was thinking about it for a while. I moved up here, and I decided at one point, I was like, you know what? I can't be the only crazy person that wants cider. I can't be the only crazy person. Now at this point, Gennaro is now an adult, and he's a mixologist down in New York City, and he's bartending in the city.
Wow.
And I'm pulling a wine bag, and the third partner is my husband, who's a graduate of the Culinary Institute of America. So I talked to my husband, and I said, hey, I want to do this. And he's like, all right. And I'm like, and I want to bring my brother in because he's got a great mixing background and he loves cider too. He kind of grew up sort of following cider because it was something I liked. So, I mean,
in fact, when we found something new, we traded back and forth. I'd be like, hey, I found 2 new ciders. Ooh, I brought you some.
Right. So we swapped cider from where we could find stuff, him in the city and me up here. So we started talking about it, and there's a festival that goes on usually every year when there's not COVID and it's not 2020. But there's a festival over at a place called Applewood Winery, which is out in Warwick. And it's Naked Flock is the cidery out there. So we used to kind of meet up and go there every year. We'd go there and then we'd go over to see Doc Cidery and whatever. So we were over at Applewood Cidery, and our mom had knitted us these little apple hats. So we're donning our apple hats and we're at Applewood and we're tasting through, we're at Naked Flock's cider event and we're tasting through their stuff, and I sit down with him and I'm like, listen, I'm like, I want to open up a liquor store, but I want the liquor store to be cider centric. I don't want cider to be in a corner. I literally want cider to be like a center point in the store. Not that I don't love wine, because I sell wine, I sell Italian wine, I love wine. And not that I don't like liquor, I did soiree as a bartender for a number of years. But cider is delicious and nobody's got it. And we can't be the only clowns. There's so many people at this cider event. We can't be the only people that actually really love this stuff. So it's like, I want you to partner with me. And then we started to talk about the whole concept of doing taps so that people could come in and actually taste ciders and actually experience it. And then we could tell the stories of these cideries so that they could then try it here and then go visit that cidery, maybe meet the cider maker, maybe walk an orchard and see what apples that the cidery is using and really understand the category and not thinking that cider is a one-trick pony and it's a certain flavor. So we sat down and we talked about it, and that was back in 2015. So we applied for the liquor license and all that stuff, but when we were there, we took a picture of our apple hats, us donning the apple hats, to send to our mom so she could see. And when we opened the store, my brother actually had that picture blown up, and that's there. That's the day that we talked about it. That was the day, and we were at Applewood Farm, so that's why that picture hangs there, because that's at the time, that's how we conceived this store. That's where the idea came from, and when we discussed and we decided, yeah, you know what, let's do this. And that was back in 2015. We opened in 2017, and now here we are in 2020.
You know how great cider is as a pairing for Thanksgiving? I mean, that's the upcoming holiday in 2 weeks. Do you have any idea how well their ciders can pair with traditional Thanksgiving dinner? Like, there are some wild pairings that can happen. And I mean, if you watch for what we're doing, we'll be putting some of them up. Things that we think are, hey, these things go together. Like, you guys want to do a cider cocktail or two?
Let's do it.
Yes.
All right. Oh, from the mixologist himself. Okay.
be using Clifton Dry.
Okay.
This is a New York cider, which drinks a lot like Prosecco would. And we're going to be using Heimat's Peach Liqueur, which is a all natural single batch per year cordial from our friend Ute down in Westchester. And basically what we're going to make is, this is done with peaches, and we're going to make like a little cider-based peach Bellini. This cordial is made by basically fresh pressed peaches, no preservatives, no concentration, so literally peaches that go straight into it. And this is Clifton Dry. So this has got a light, easy drinking, bone dry cider, which is really refreshing on its own, but also mixes for cocktails exceptionally well. This is one of my personal favorite cocktail ciders.
I can kind of smell it already.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
The effervescence from this is going to kind of like give you the nose that you want, and yeah, you're gonna get like peach and floral, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much, man.
This is amazing. I haven't tried it.
That's good, man.
Make your cider a peach cider.
Ooh, that is really good. Very smooth,
Yeah, yeah. It goes down really smooth.
light, not too overpowering.
I don't know what, but like something about this. I can drink this and listen to Coldplay. I don't know why. That's a feeling I'm getting.
Coldplay.
Like, and it's really specific, I know, but like, I don't know, man.
Something relaxing.
Well, I'm gonna do one more, which is gonna be an
Oh.
apple spirit base, as
Okay.
opposed to an apple cider base, and you guys can kind of see something that's been amped up a little bit more than your Coldplay. This is your
Let's do
Coldplay.
it,
You're
let's
starting
do it,
to.
let's do it.
Oh, when you're ready for your Metallica, I've got that cocktail too.
Let's go.
So this is Barking Irons. This is made entirely from New York apples. It is Applejack, so it is brandy based. It is 100 proof. This is not a sweet Applejack like some of the bigger commercial brands. It's made from 3 different apples, which I believe are Cortland, Empire, and Crispin. Made in New York, distilled in New York, from New York apples, rested in barrels in Brooklyn. So very tied into New York. This is an old firefighter's shield. And we're gonna basically be mixing this with another New York product, which is not cider related, Rocky's Milk Punch. This is out of, this is made by Iman Rocky in Brooklyn. This basically uses a touch of milk to pull the flavors out of some tropical fruits, some apple, some pineapple, all different stuff there. And this is kind of the ultimate mixing beverage. You can add this to pretty much anything, but it goes really well with the Barking Irons Applejack. So I'm gonna pour everybody a little bit of Applejack onto some ice here. We're gonna open a bottle of Rocky's Milk Punch. And again, this stuff goes with everything. This is like the liquor equivalent of Frank's Red Hot. Like,
Oh wow. Okay.
goes on everything. So when you take this, just give it a little swirl with the ice,
Yep. Yep.
and that's really gonna bring out the flavor.
Oh wait. Whoops. Sorry.
Cheers.
Wow. That's got a head on it. Oh wow.
Goes down smoother than the nose delivers, you know, because you smell it and
You
it
get
smells
so much
strong.
apple, and you get so much flavor
Yeah.
on the front of
Whoa. No, you're right. No,
Right?
that's it hits you when you're like smelling it,
Yeah.
but it does not hit when you're drinking it
this.
at
It'll
all.
hit you later when you're drinking it.
Yeah, that's fine. It's always usually when like you originally drink it, it just knocks you, but
Yeah.
like this doesn't at all. It goes smooth all the way down.
And I like how you said it. Yeah, yeah. You said it pulls the apple. The Rockies
yeah.
pulls the apple, and it really does. Like,
It really
almost like-
does.
This is Pommeau.
A mo.
So Pommeau is traditionally from Normandy, France, the original place that Pommeau was made, although there are a ton of New York Pommeaus. So Normandy, France, and basically what they're doing, they're either taking low ABV cider or completely fresh apple juice, depending on who you talk to. So this is gonna be about 17 to 20% alcohol, depending on what you get. This is basically, the way I explain this to people is that this is the apple cider equivalent of port wine.
Okay.
Because you're fortifying the cider with brandy. This is gonna be sweet. It's gonna stay open and last for a long time. But this is like an after-dinner dessert cordial style of drinking apple products.
Cheers. Let's do this. Mo. Hello. Let's go. I've never had this before. I've never had a Mo. I thought I did, but no.
So some people that make some really good pomos in New York State, Steve Sellen, who makes Phonograph and South Hill Ciders. He makes a really good pomo. Orchard Hill makes a couple of different ones. They make one that's designed more for cocktailing, and then they make a Reserva, which is really old. It's a blend of 4 to 9 year old pomos. And then Eve's Cidery just released one this year. They released their 2018 2-year-old, which is really nicely done. There's one in Dutchess County from Shady Knoll. And there's a bunch more. Like, so many people are producing pomo. It's a small category, so I don't have all of the pomos, but the ones I mentioned are really good, and we carry most of those. And yeah, this is supposed to be a fun errand. Like, you know, the dry cleaner, that's not fun. You know, you drop off something at the post office, that's definitely not fun. Yeah. But it's like, hey, I want to go buy some cider. That's supposed to be fun, guys. So that's the whole idea behind the shop and how we do things.
That's great.
This is definitely the place to go, you know, for the cider lover and for somebody looking to get into it.
Yeah, because there's so much variety.
We'll put some information down here.
Yeah, so how can we follow you guys on social media?
So our social media, we are on Facebook, Boutique Wine, Spirits, and Ciders. We are on Instagram as boutique_wines_spirits, and we are on TikTok.
We're gonna do some TikTok. Let's go.
It's also connected there. So we do more on Instagram and we are doing more on Instagram and Facebook than we do on TikTok at this point, but we like to get our TikTok stuff in here and there. We also have a website, boutiquewsc.com, where you can see there's a whole cider page devoted to cider there. That's a constantly evolving setup for us. We're constantly changing what goes on there. Soon we'll have our tap list up there, so you'll be able to see what's on tap currently. Not there yet, but that's coming by the end of the year. We should have our tap list kind of set up there so you can see what's on tap and whatever. And then you come into the store, see us here. We're open every day, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. except Sundays when we're open from 12 to 6. Always come in, come see me, come see Paige, come see some of the other amazing staff that we have, and talk cider with us. Love it.
Awesome.
Thank you so
Check this place out.
Thank you
so
guys.
much.